In the waning light of a Roman afternoon, the air was thick with the scent of blooming laurels and the distant laughter of children playing in the streets. The city, alive with the bustling sounds of merchants hawking their wares and the rhythmic clatter of chariots on cobblestone roads, masked the quiet turmoil within the heart of a young patrician woman named Aurelia. Betrothed to a man she scarcely knew, a union crafted by the ambitions of powerful families, her heart yearned for a love that danced just beyond her reach. It was during the festival of Lupercalia, when the air was thick with the promise of spring and the fervor of youth, that fate intervened. Amidst the raucous celebrations, a soldier named Marcus, fresh from the blood-soaked fields of Germania, caught a glimpse of Aurelia's radiant beauty as she stood at her father's side, adorned in her finest stola. Their eyes met, and in that fleeting moment, the world around them faded, leaving only the electric tension of unspoken desire. Yet, the constraints of their social standings loomed like towering columns, threatening to crush the fragile bloom of affection. Aurelia was destined for a life of privilege, while Marcus bore the scars of a soldier's life, marked by valor yet shackled by his lower status. In whispered letters exchanged beneath the cloak of darkness, they spoke of dreams and destinies, each word a thread weaving their hearts closer, even as the looming specter of an arranged marriage threatened to sever their bond. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the city, Aurelia and Marcus found solace in the shadows, their love a fragile yet defiant flame flickering against the harsh winds of Roman tradition. Would the gods smile upon their union, or were they but pawns in a game played by those who held the strings of power? In the heart of Rome, where love was often sacrificed on the altar of ambition, their story was but a whisper in the annals of time, yet the echoes of their passion would resonate through the ages. Introduction to engagement customs in ancient Rome. In the waning light of a late afternoon, the streets of Rome buzzed with the vibrant energy of life, an orchestra of voices, laughter, and the distant sound of chariots clattering over cobblestones. It was the season of Lupercalia, a time when the city pulsed with fervor and passion, igniting hearts in a whirlwind of celebration. Yet for Claudia, the daughter of a respected senator, the festival brought more than just merriment. It heralded the weight of her family's expectations and the specter of an impending arranged marriage. Claudia stood at the window of her family's domus, her heart entwined in a web of longing and despair. She gazed out at the crowds below, her thoughts of Lucius, a soldier of humble origins whose laughter was like music in her ears. Their love had blossomed in secret, ignited during stolen moments in the bustling marketplace where they exchanged glances, shared dreams, and whispered promises. But the chasm of their social standings loomed large. She, a patrician destined for a life of privilege and duty. He, a plebeian whose valor on the battlefield could never afford him the luxury of her hand. The day of her betrothal loomed like a dark cloud, overshadowing the jubilant festivities. Claudia's father had arranged for her to marry a wealthy magistrate, a man whose fortune could elevate their family's status even further. As she turned away from the window, the scent of roses from a nearby garden wafted in, a bittersweet reminder of the love that filled her heart but remained unlived. On the eve of the festival, Claudia received a letter, an elegant scroll sealed with the insignia of a soldier. Her fingers trembled as she broke the seal, her heart racing as she read Lucius's words, written under the dim light of a flickering torch. Dearest Claudia, as the Lupercalia approaches, I find myself torn between the joy of the season and the anguish of my heart. The battle rages not just on the fields, but within me, for I know that fate has conspired against us. Though my station may be lowly, my love for you is boundless. If it be the God's will, I shall return for you, and we shall defy the chains that bind us. Until then, hold my heart close, as I hold yours. Tears shimmered in Claudia's eyes as she clutched the letter to her chest, the words igniting a fire within her. The idea of abandoning her duty felt both exhilarating and terrifying. Lupercalia was a festival of fertility and love, where young men would run through the streets, striking women with strips of goat hide, symbolizing fertility and the blessings of the gods. The air would be thick with laughter, yet all Claudia could feel was the weight of her impending nuptials pressing down upon her. As the festival began, she donned a flowing white tunic adorned with delicate embroidery, a stark symbol of her role as the bride-to-be. The laughter and joy of the crowd echoed outside, but inside her heart a storm raged. She recalled a moment shared with Lucius amidst the vibrant stalls, where the scent of spiced wine mingled with the aroma of fresh bread. It was there that he had first taken her hand, a simple gesture that turned her world upside down. But the reality of their situation could not be ignored. On the third night of Lupercalia, as the moon hung large and luminous in the sky, Claudia made a decision that would change the course of her life. She slipped away from her family's festivities, her heart pounding like a war drum as she navigated the narrow streets toward the barracks where Lucius was stationed. The night was alive with the sounds of celebration, but it felt like a world away as she approached the flickering torchlight. Lucius stood there, his armor glinting in the moonlight, a figure of both strength and vulnerability. Their eyes met, and in that moment, nothing else mattered. "Claudia," he whispered, pulling her close. "You should not be here." "I could not bear the thought of marrying another," she replied, her voice trembling with both fear and resolve. "I would rather choose a life of uncertainty with you than a gilded cage without love." As they stood beneath the stars, surrounded by the distant echoes of Lupercalia, Lucius took her hands in his. Their fingers entwined like the fates that had conspired to bring them together. "Then let us defy the world, my love. I will fight for you, for us." And so, under the watchful gaze of the gods, they forged a pact not just of love, but of rebellion against the rigid boundaries of their society. Their hearts, entwined like ivy, whispered promises of a future where love could conquer all. Yet, as the festival raged on and the world around them celebrated, they knew the path forward would be fraught with challenges, an ever-present reminder that in the grand tapestry of Rome, love was both a gift and a curse. As the festival of Lupercalia unfurled its vibrant tapestry across the ancient streets of Rome, the air crackled with the heady perfume of blossoming flowers and the raucous laughter of revelers. Marcus, clad in the simple garb of a soldier, found himself a mere ghost among the opulence surrounding him. His heart, however, beat fiercely for one, Aurelia, the daughter of a senator, whose beauty eclipsed even the most splendid glories of the city. Their clandestine exchanges, written in the shadows of night, were the only threads tethering them to hope amidst the suffocating expectations of their worlds. Each letter, carefully folded and hidden, held promises of a love that dared to defy the rigid hierarchies of Roman society. Meanwhile, Claudia stood on the precipice of her own heart's desire, torn between familial duty and the fiery passion ignited by Lucius, a soldier of humble origins. The looming specter of an arranged marriage threatened to extinguish her dreams, yet the festival's intoxicating spirit urged her to seize her fate. Beneath the festive lights and the cries of merriment, she resolved to break free from the chains of obligation, yearning to forge a love that could withstand the trials of their divided lives. In that fleeting moment, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Marcus and Aurelia exchanged a gaze filled with unspoken promises, and Claudia felt the warmth of Lucius's hand in hers. For within the heart of Rome, amidst its grandeur and strictures, love found a way to blossom, fierce and unyielding, a testament to the enduring spirit of those who dared to dream. The role of social class in marriage proposals. In the waning light of a late afternoon, the streets of Rome buzzed with the vibrant energy of life, an orchestra of voices, laughter, and the distant sound of chariots clattering over cobblestones. Beneath the shadow of the Grand Colosseum, where gladiators once fought for glory, a different battle raged in the heart of Lucius Flavius, a young patrician, and his beloved, a humble plebeian named Julia. Their love, as radiant as the Roman sun, was shrouded in the heavy veil of social class, and yet it flourished in secret corners of the city. Lucius had first laid eyes on Julia during the festival of Lupercalia, a time when the air was thick with laughter and the scent of freshly sacrificed goats mingled with the promise of love. It was a festival of fertility, where the young men would run through the streets, lightly struck by strips of goatskin, and women would eagerly seek the blessed touch, believing it would grant them prosperity and joy. Yet, amidst the revelry, it was Julia's silvery laughter that captured his heart. She danced with abandon, her hair flowing like waves of dark silk, her smile illuminating the shadows cast by great marble columns. As the festival faded into memory, Lucius found himself entranced by thoughts of Julia. They met in secret, exchanging whispered vows of love under the cover of night. Their meetings, though fraught with danger, were filled with the sweetness of stolen glances and the warmth of entwined fingers. Yet, as the days turned into weeks, the specter of Lucius's impending arranged marriage loomed ever larger. His father, a powerful senator, had set his sights on a union that would elevate their family's status, an alliance with the family of a wealthy equestrian. The thought of a life bound to a woman he did not love filled Lucius with dread. Each day, he penned letters to Julia, his quill scratching out the depths of his affection, the ink stained with the tears of his conflicting heart. "My dearest Julia," he wrote one evening, "the stars themselves conspire against our love. What folly it is that I must surrender to the will of my father, when my heart beats only for you." Meanwhile, Julia, ever the embodiment of grace, worked tirelessly in her father's modest bakery. The scent of freshly baked bread wafted through the air, mingling with the cries of market vendors and the laughter of children. Yet, beneath her gentle exterior lay a heart that beat fiercely against the chains of social convention. She had heard whispers of Lucius's betrothal and felt as though the very ground beneath her feet had crumbled away. In her solitude, she would touch the small silver locket he had given her, a token of their love that felt like a lifeline to her very soul. As the fateful day of Lucius's engagement approached, he devised a plan, a desperate attempt to defy the social constraints that bound them. On the eve of the ceremony, he resolved to confront his father, to lay bare his heart and claim his right to choose his own destiny. As he approached the grand villa, adorned with garlands of laurel and the laughter of guests, he steeled himself against the tide of expectations that threatened to drown him. "Father," he implored, his voice steady yet laced with urgency, "I cannot marry her. My heart belongs to another." The room fell silent, the laughter fading into a tense stillness. His father's brow furrowed, a tempest brewing behind his steely gaze. "You are a Flavius," he thundered, "and the family name demands a union that strengthens our power. Love is a fleeting folly. Think of the legacy you shall inherit." Yet, as Lucius stood resolute, the image of Julia flashed before him, her laughter, her spirit, the way she lit up the darkest corners of his heart. "Then let me forge my own legacy," he declared, a fire igniting within him. "I choose love over power, and I shall not be bound by the chains of my lineage." With those words, he turned and fled, racing through the streets of Rome, the moonlight guiding his steps as though the gods themselves were leading him to his heart's desire. When he finally reached Julia's bakery, breathless and wide-eyed, he found her kneading dough, the rhythmic motion a dance of hope. "Julia," he gasped, grasping her hands, "I will not marry her. I choose you." Tears of joy welled in her eyes, and in that moment, amidst the flower-dusted counters and the fragrant loaves, they vowed to defy the world together. Their love, a defiance against the rigid structures of society, glimmered like a beacon in the dark, a testament to the strength of the human heart against the tides of fate. As the dawn broke over Rome, illuminating the ancient stones with golden light, Lucius and Julia knew their journey was just beginning. They would face challenges, but together, they would weave a tapestry of love that transcended even the most daunting social barriers. A love that would echo through the ages, as enduring as the city that surrounded them. In the heart of the vibrant Lupercalia festival, amidst the laughter and revelry of the Roman populace, The air thrummed with unspoken desires and hidden hearts. Marcus, clad in the armor of a soldier, stood at the fringes of the celebrations. His gaze locked upon Aurelia, the radiant daughter of a senator, her beauty illuminated by the flickering torches. They had shared stolen moments in shadowed alcoves, their whispered promises weaving a tapestry of love that defied the rigid confines of their social strata. Yet, the weight of expectation loomed heavy upon them. Aurelia was betrothed to a wealthy patrician, a union crafted with the cold precision of political ambition. Each day, as her wedding approached, the ache of longing tightened its grip around her heart. She had penned countless letters to Marcus, inked with the fervor of their clandestine love, but each missive was a fragile vessel tossed upon the turbulent seas of fate. In the throes of the festival, amidst the frenetic dance and the intoxicating scents of rosemary and myrtle, Marcus felt the fire of rebellion ignite within him. He resolved to confront the chains that bound them. Under the cloak of night, they met in a secluded grove, the moon casting a silvery glow upon their entwined hands. "Let us defy the gods and forge our own destiny," he murmured, his voice a blend of desperation and hope. Aurelia's heart raced as she contemplated the perilous path before them. Could love truly conquer the formidable walls of her world? In that sacred moment, with the echoes of laughter surrounding them, they exchanged vows not of obligation, but of passion. Each word a promise to challenge the very fabric of Roman society that sought to keep them apart. As dawn broke, the festival's fervor continued, but for Marcus and Aurelia, a new chapter awaited. One where love, in all its sweetness and struggle, would illuminate their path through the shadows of tradition, guiding them toward a future unbound by the chains of their heritage. Lupercalia and beyond. Unique engagement rituals and festivals. Lupercalia and beyond. In the waning light of a late afternoon, the streets of Rome buzzed with the vibrant energy of life, an orchestra of voices, laughter, and the distant sound of chariots clattering over cobblestones. Among the throngs of citizens, bustling merchants, and idle patricians, a young woman named Livia stood at the edge of the forum, her heart thundering like the hooves of the horses racing past. Today was the eve of Lupercalia, the festival dedicated to the she-wolf that had nurtured Romulus and Remus, and the city was alive with anticipation. A heady mix of revelry, fertility rites, and the promise of love. Livia was the daughter of a wealthy senator, her betrothal to a man of equal standing already arranged by her father. Marcus, a man of ambition and wealth, was to be her husband, yet her heart was ensnared by another, a soldier named Keys, a commoner who had captured her attention with his fierce spirit and the gentle way he spoke of the stars. Their love was like a flower struggling to bloom through the cracks of a stone path, beautiful yet bound by the unyielding realities of social class. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden rays across the marble columns, Livia's thoughts drifted to the letters she and Keys exchanged in shadows. Those fragile scrolls, inked with longing and dreams, had become her lifeline. In his writings, he spoke of the battles he fought, of the camaraderie among his fellow soldiers, and, most importantly, of the night skies that reminded him of her. Each letter was a balm for her soul. Yet the weight of her impending marriage loomed over her like a storm cloud. Livia. A voice called, piercing through her reverie. It was her friend, Julia, her face flushed with excitement. The festival is about to begin. Come, let us join the others. With a heavy heart, Livia allowed herself to be swept away by the current of laughter and music. The streets were adorned with garlands of flowers, and the air was thick with the scent of incense and roasted meats. Men draped in animal skins brandished whips made of leather, playfully striking the backs of young women as a symbol of fertility and good fortune. Livia felt the thrill of the festival pulse around her, but her heart remained tethered to the shadows where Keys lingered. As the night deepened, the revelers gathered near the Lupercal cave, where the ancient rites would commence. The priests, clad in white robes, sacrificed goats and Amidst the fervor of Lupercalia, where the air hummed with the scent of fresh flowers and the laughter of revelers, love blossomed like the first light of dawn, defying the shadows of societal constraints. Marcus, clad in the armor of a soldier yet softened by the tender spirit of a lover, penned fervent letters under the flickering glow of a candle, words flowing like wine, intoxicating and free. Each stroke of his quill carried the weight of his heart, yearning for Aurelia, whose beauty shone as brightly as the sunlit marble of the Forum. Aurelia, trapped within the gilded cage of her station, felt her heart dance to the rhythm of Marcus's words. The clandestine exchange of letters became their sanctuary, a refuge from the looming specter of arranged marriage that threatened to bind her to a man devoid of affection. Their souls intertwined through ink and parchment, painting dreams of a future liberated from the chains of expectation, where love reigned supreme. In the throes of Lupercalia's festivities, amid the laughter and the playful rites, Claudia stood on the precipice of despair. Torn between duty and desire, her heart ached for Lucius, the humble soldier whose eyes sparkled with unspoken promises. As the festival raged on, she felt the weight of her family's expectations press down upon her, but the fire of love urged her forward, igniting the courage she never knew she possessed. With each heartbeat, the barriers of class and obligation trembled, and in the embrace of the night, beneath the watchful gaze of the gods, they dared to dream. Love, in all its agonizing beauty, became their guiding star, illuminating a path through the darkness of tradition. For in the tapestry of their lives, woven with threads of passion and sacrifice, they would carve a legacy that would echo through the ages, a testament to love's unwavering power in the heart of ancient Rome. Arranged marriages and forbidden relationships. In the heart of Rome, under the fading glow of the sun, the air was thick with the scents of roasted meats and blooming violets. The Lupercalia festival was but days away, and the city pulsed with a fervor that intertwined the sacred and the secular. Among the throngs of citizens, young and old, the laughter of children mingled with the steady rhythm of the flutes, while the aroma of incense wafted through the streets. Yet within this symphony of life and celebration, a forbidden tale of love unfolded, shrouded in secrecy and longing. Lucius, a soldier of the legions, stood at the edge of the Forum, his heart heavy with thoughts of Tullia, the daughter of a wealthy patrician. Their worlds were as disparate as the sun and the moon. Lucius hailed from the plebeian class, a common man who had fought valiantly in the service of Rome. Tullia, on the other hand, was a jewel of the aristocracy, raised in luxury within the walls of her father's grand domus, surrounded by silk and golden trinkets. Their love was not merely forbidden. It was a dangerous game played upon the chessboard of Roman society. They had exchanged letters, inked in the glow of flickering oil lamps, their words a lifeline in the face of societal constraints. "Dearest Tullia," he wrote in one missive, "the stars conspire against us, yet I find solace in the thought of you. Each day in battle, I fight not only for Rome but for the hope of your embrace upon my return." The parchment bore the weight of his longing, stained with the sweat and dust of the campaign. Tullia, too, felt the weight of their love pressing upon her heart. As the daughter of a prominent senator, her future had been arranged since birth. An engagement to a young patrician, a man of power and wealth who would elevate her family's status. The prospect of Lupercalia loomed large, a festival of fertility and love, where young men and women would draw lots to find their partners for the festivities. Tullia's heart clenched at the thought of being paired with another, her soul bound to a man she had never chosen. On the eve of Lupercalia, Tullia donned a white tunic, her hair adorned with fresh laurel leaves, symbolizing purity and hope. The streets were alive with laughter, and the air vibrated with the sound of youthful exuberance. Yet, as she joined the throng, her heart was not in the merriment. It lay with Lucius. Stealing away from the celebrations, she sought refuge in the shadowed alcove of the Temple of Lupercus, where the echoes of laughter faded into whispers. "Lucius," she breathed, her eyes scanning the dim light for his familiar figure. When he emerged from the shadows, clad in his simple tunic, the world around them vanished. In that moment, nothing else mattered. Their love transcended the constraints of their social standings, existing in a realm of its own. "Sweet Tullia," he whispered, taking her hands in his, the warmth of her skin igniting a fire within him. "I fear for us, my love. The festival will soon claim you. Your father has plans that will chain you to another." Tears welled in Tullia's eyes, glistening like the stars that adorned the night sky. "I cannot bear the thought, Lucius. My heart belongs to you and you alone. But what power do we possess against the will of my father?" Their hands clasped tighter, as if holding on could defy the very fabric of fate. In that moment, the world outside was but a distant murmur, the sounds of the festival fading into silence. They spoke in hushed tones of dreams and desires, weaving a tapestry of hope against the dark reality that loomed ahead. But as the moon rose high, heralding the night of Lupercalia, the time for choices drew near. With a heavy heart, Tullia knew she must return, for the revelry awaited her. "Promise me, Lucius," she implored, her voice trembling, "that you will not forget me. Even if the fates conspire to draw us apart, keep my memory alive in your heart." "I swear it, Tullia," he vowed, his gaze fierce. "You are my heart, my strength. I will fight for us, no matter the odds." As she slipped away into the night, the weight of their love lingered in the air, a bittersweet melody of longing and despair. The festival continued, exuberant and alive, yet Tullia felt as if she were walking through a dream, each step heavy with the knowledge of the choices that lay ahead. In the days that followed, Lucius faced the battlefield with a heart burdened by the ache of separation, each clash of swords echoing the tumult within him. Tullia, too, donned her mask for the festival, a facade of joy concealing the storm of emotions that raged beneath. Their love, though forbidden, had carved a path through the chaos of their lives, a testament to the resilience of the human heart against the boundaries of society. As the sun set upon the horizon, casting a golden hue over the city, Lucius and Tullia remained bound by a thread of hope, a flicker of love that defied the challenges of their world. In the heart of Rome, under the watchful gaze of the gods, their story unfolded. A tale of passion, sacrifice, and the unyielding pursuit of love amid the trials of fate. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the bustling streets of Rome, the air was thick with the scent of blooming violets and the distant echoes of laughter from the Lupercalia festivities. Among the revelers, Marcus, clad in his soldier's armor, stood apart, his heart heavy with a longing that transcended the vibrancy of the festival. His thoughts were ensnared by Aurelia, the daughter of a senator, whose beauty rivaled the very gods. Their secret correspondence, letters exchanged beneath the cover of twilight, had ignited a flame that flickered defiantly against the cold winds of societal expectations. Aurelia, adorned in flowing white, danced among her peers, yet her heart beat in rhythm with Marcus's fervent declarations of love. Each letter, penned with desperation, spoke of a world unbound by duty. A world where their hearts could intertwine without fear of retribution. Yet, the specter of her father's plans for her future loomed large, threatening to snuff out their passion. At the same time, Claudia, another noble's daughter, felt the weight of her own impending fate. Betrothed to a wealthy official, she found herself captivated by Lucius, a humble soldier whose spirit mirrored her own. Under the guise of the festival's merriment, she resolved to break free from the shackles of her arranged marriage, seeking the love that pulsed in her veins. As the Lupercalia celebrations reached their zenith, the couples found themselves at a crossroads. Would they choose to defy the rigid structures of their society for the sake of love? In that moment, amid laughter and the rustle of togas, love emerged as both a sanctuary and a battlefield, an unyielding force that could either bind them in joy or shatter their worlds apart. The festival, a vibrant tapestry of life, bore witness to their struggles, reminding them that love, though fraught with peril, was a treasure worth fighting for. The enduring nature of love amidst Roman traditions. In the heart of Rome, under the fading glow of the sun, the air was thick with the scents of roasted meats and blooming violets. The Lupercalia festival was but days away, and the city pulsed with a fervor that tinged the very atmosphere with anticipation. For many, this was a time of revelry, of feasting and flirtation, a festival dedicated to love and fertility. Yet within this vibrant chaos, a tender story unfolded. One that would illuminate the enduring nature of love amid the strangest customs of engagement and marriage proposals in the Roman world. At the edge of the bustling forum, nestled between grand stone columns, stood a modest dwelling belonging to Aurelia, a young woman of the plebeian class. Despite her family's humble status, Aurelia possessed a beauty that transcended her station. Her dark hair cascaded like a river of silk, and her eyes sparkled with a fierce intelligence. But as Lupercalia approached, she found herself trapped in the binding chains of an arranged marriage with Marcus, the son of a wealthy patrician family. Like a gilded cage, her betrothal promised comfort and security, yet it suffocated her spirit. Across the river, stationed in the heart of Gaul, was Gaius, a soldier of the legions, whose heart beat not for glory, but for the love he had left behind. Each day, he penned letters bearing his soul to Aurelia, his words flowing like the Tiber in spring. To my dearest Aurelia, he wrote, the sun rises and sets in your name. Each battle is but a shadow compared to the light of your love. The parchment bore the weight of his longing, his ink a lifeline stretched across the vastness of the empire. As the festival drew near, the streets of Rome transformed into a tapestry of color and sound. The laughter of children mingled with the raucous shouts of revelers, while the scent of honeycakes wafted through the air. In the heart of this joyous chaos, Aurelia sought refuge in the quiet corners of her home, where the flickering light of an oil lamp illuminated Gaius's letters. They were her solace, her secret world of passion and defiance against the expectations that threatened to consume her. On the eve of Lupercalia, Aurelia's family prepared for the ceremonial offerings and games that would soon envelop the city. The streets would be filled with young men, clad only in loincloths, as they ran through Rome, striking women with leather strips, a custom believed to promote fertility. As her mother fussed over her wedding gown, Aurelia's heart raced with the knowledge that tomorrow would mark the beginning of her life as Marcus's wife, a life devoid of the love she craved. Desperate and driven by the fire of her emotions, Aurelia made her way to the banks of the Tiber, where the moon cast a silver glow upon the waters. There, beneath the ancient willow that had witnessed countless lovers, she found Gaius, who had returned under the cover of night. His uniform, now dusty and worn, contrasted sharply with the brilliance of his eyes, which lit up at the sight of her. Aurelia, he breathed, stepping closer, their hands nearly touching. I could not bear the thought of you marrying another. This world is cruel, but our love, it is worth fighting for. Aurelia trembled, torn between her duty and her heart. But Gaius, the world will never understand. You are a soldier of low birth, and I am to be wed to a man of wealth and status. What hope do we have? Hope is all we need, he replied, his voice fierce with conviction. We can escape this city, sail across the sea, and find a place where love is not bound by the chains of society. We could start anew. In that moment, the moonlight seemed to wrap around them like a shroud, offering a tender embrace against the harsh realities of their world. The weight of her impending marriage loomed over Aurelia, yet Gaius's words ignited a spark within her, a desire for freedom, for a love that would defy the traditions that sought to bind her. As dawn approached, they shared whispered promises beneath the stars, their hearts beating in synchrony with the rhythm of the city awakening around them. Lupercalia was a festival of love, but for Aurelia and Gaius, it symbolized a choice: to surrender to societal expectations or to grasp the reins of their destiny. With the first light of day, Aurelia returned home, her heart heavy yet aflame with hope. The festival would commence, and she would wear her wedding gown not as a symbol of submission, but as a testament to the love that thrived in the shadows. In a society that thrived on strange customs and expectations, it was love, wild, uncompromising love, that would prove to be the most enduring force of all. As the celebrations began, Aurelia stood at the threshold of her future, ready to defy the bonds of tradition. In the heart of Rome, amidst the chaos of Lupercalia, the tale of her love would echo through the ages, a gentle reminder that the heart, in all its tumultuous glory, could never be tamed. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the bustling streets of Rome, the festival of Lupercalia began to unfold. Amidst the revelry, Marcus found solace in the shadowy corners of the Forum, where the echoes of laughter mingled with the fragrant blooms of spring. His heart raced not from the intoxicating excitement of the festival, but from the thought of Aurelia, the senator's daughter, whose laughter was like music to his ears. Their love, a forbidden tapestry woven with threads of longing and trepidation, blossomed in the secrecy of the night. Yet, as the sacred rites of Lupercalia honored the god of fertility, Marcus grappled with the weight of his humble origins. Aurelia, adorned in her finest tunic, was a vision of grace, yet the chains of societal expectation threatened to bind her to a man of status, a union orchestrated by her father's ambitions. Across the city, Claudia, a bright spirit trapped within the gilded cage of her family's expectations, felt the stirrings of rebellion in her heart. Lucius, a soldier of modest means, had captured her soul with his fervent declarations of love penned in the flickering candlelight. Each letter he sent from the battlefield was a lifeline, filled with the promise of a life unfettered by the constraints of their social standings. As Lupercalia raged on, the air thick with the scent of sacrifice and celebration, both couples stood at the precipice of their desires and duties. The festival, a cacophony of joy and frenzy, bore witness to their struggles. Claudia, in a moment of courageous defiance, sought Lucius amidst the throng, her heart pounding like the war drums that echoed in the distance. In a world where love often bowed to the dictates of power, Marcus and Aurelia's secret rendezvous became a sanctuary, a fleeting escape from the looming shadows of their respective fates. As they held each other under the flickering torches, they forged a pact, a promise to fight for their love against all odds. In that ephemeral moment, under the watchful eyes of the gods, their hearts beat in unison, igniting a flame that would defy the very foundations of Roman society. For in love, they discovered not just passion but the courage to challenge the boundaries that threatened to keep them apart. As the festival swirled around them, they dared to dream of a future where love would triumph over the rigid structures of their world, where their hearts could soar free, unchained by the past.